This out. Plains Grain and Agronomy is busy and is hiring more team members for their locations at Enderlin, Marion, and Mott, North Dakota. Hiring for the following positions: Class A truck driver, custom applicator, general laborer, and precision ag service technician. They're hiring immediately, full-time, with great pay and great benefits. Join the Plains Grain and Agronomy team online at plainsgrain.com.
The next Coffee Club with Janae and Ronnie.
We're going to be heading into the weekend, and we're going to talk to the Red Hawks and see what's going on, and also Janae and Ronnie's categories.
Plus checks on the weather and all kinds of fun stuff that you've come to expect from the Coffee Club. Going to be hot, hot, hot this weekend. We'll tell you how hot if you join us starting at 8:30.
The Coffee Club, weekdays 8:30 to 11 on AM 970 and 93.1 FM WDAY.
Good Thursday afternoon, 1:06 in the afternoon. We want to thank you all for joining us here at Weather, Ag, and Focus. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with meteorologist Justin Storm, and our wonderful and talented Ag Director, Bridgette Readel.
Oh, fun. I got a new sounder. How I like that.
Do you know what it is?
Is this from some movie I've never watched?
No, play it for her again. It has to do with weather and ag.
One more time, just for a laugh.
It's a screaming goat.
Oh, this is going to make way more sense if we put that video on the live stream all at the same time, you guys. That would be excellent.
Good point.
Dean, you found that screaming goat, didn't you? Because you've never liked my Fisher-Price barn.
No,
you always thought that was weird.
Actually, Justin found there's your barn door.
There's my moo.
No, we were just scrolling through on the old internet, and we came across the screaming goat. And we gotta clip that.
I like the fact that you're thinking about me. And it's not even within the 1 to 2 o'clock hour. You just find time to catch me on something else.
Absolutely.
We gotta add this screaming goat.
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you, it's a beautiful afternoon out there. We're looking at sunny to partly cloudy skies. And temperatures currently right around 70 degrees. Should warm up today into the mid to upper 70s with winds out of the northwest, 10 to 25, and starting to relax as we head towards evening. And then we'll clear things out overnight tonight. Another pleasant night down into the 50s, but the wind machine cranks up tomorrow. Out of the south-southeast, 15 to 30 and gusty, and highs in the upper 80s, close to 90, but I think we'll probably stay in the upper 80s. And then as we head into the weekend looks kind of split, Saturday being the pick day, with hot conditions and highs in the mid-90s. And then Sunday, clouds come back, maybe an isolated shower or two, with highs only in the 70s. On Sunday. In fact, we're getting some indications it could be even cooler than that.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I mean, I like that. That's refreshing for me.
Well, you get a hot day on Saturday and much cooler on Sunday. So, a little something for everybody out there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
These are not bad things if we can make this weather exactly what we want it to be today, guys.
We're trying.
We're doing our best.
All right.
We are trying. Do you want to hit some ag topics here in the first segment, Bridgette?
I'd love that.
All right. What do you want to hit?
Well, do y'all want to talk about components from yesterday, the components on the combines when it comes to preventing them from fire?
I would love to hit that one, actually, because we didn't have time to get to it yesterday, like you mentioned.
And frankly, harvest is coming, right? There are some folks that are going to try to get into some wheat fields today, take a chunk of those, make sure that the moisture is down where it should be. And as we progress through harvest, we know that soybeans and sunflower dust are probably two of the major causes of combine fires. So what are some things that manufacturers are wanting to do to prevent that? Case, New Holland, as well as John Deere are all now starting to put stainless steel boxes around certain hot areas on the combine to try to keep dust off of them. Hopefully they're ventilated in some way because you don't want even more heat being kept within that stainless steel box. But often if you have like certain bearing areas, et cetera, when there's a lot of dust on them and they get warm, they can spark off and create a combine fire. And so this is just one step that manufacturers are trying to make to start that. Additionally, you can get an add-on, which is essentially an air compressor that runs off the engine of your combine, so you could blow dust off your machine. Some farmers do that with an air compressor on their service pickups, or they'll have leaf blowers to blow the dust off their machines, but this would be a different way to do that entirely. So you just never know if that's going to be something on the next machine you choose to buy. Keep that in mind.
Either that or have a can of grape soda in the combine with you.
That's
For
the
those
one
who
that I'd
haven't
want.
heard the story, Bridgette put a combine out with a can of grape soda. You know what it turned
It's like
into?
a six-pack.
What did it turn into?
Now that's what I call a sticky situation.
Hey, Bridgette, I know you're not on live stream with us, but
Right.
Justin walks in. Anybody watching, they might think we've got a new meteorologist. He walks in today totally clean shaven. I'm like, who are you? And what do you?
I don't think you've ever seen me clean.
I've never seen you clean shaven.
Mostly clean shaved.
Yeah, he looks
Well,
about 19.
I look different.
hey, so here's the big question. Does your little boy recognize you? 'Cause
No, he
that
didn't
sometimes
actually.
happens.
Yeah, I bet.
Nah, he didn't recognize me.
Who's this stranger, my
bet
son?
not.
Stranger. It's like, don't worry, buddy. It'll grow back. Just give it like 10 days. It'll be back.
He can only hope, because otherwise this kid is staying far, far away from you. More so than usual, I might add.
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, phone numbers for the program today on the Red Wing Shoes phone line, 701-293-9000 if you want to call in. I got a question for the listeners out there. I'm not sure how many people will call in, mainly because of the fact they might be a little busy, but we got wheat harvest going on. A few other things are being harvested around the area, and if you want to call in and let us know how it's going, I'd love to know what you guys are averaging out there on yield on the wheat. I'm not going to ask you how much you're farming or what your name is if you don't want the name, but I'd like to know what we're averaging out there across the area with wheat harvest, if it's been a good crop, bad crop, really good crop. 701-293-9000 is that Red Wing Shoes phone line, or you can always email us via email, weather or ag@flagfamily.com. And as Dean was mentioning earlier, we live stream each and every single day on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and we also stream to Acres TV.
And it's not just wheat. We have sugar beet pre-pile going on for a number of areas. Yes. So pre-pile means that sugar beet fields are being opened up. This kind of gets the factories off and running, run the equipment a little bit. And so pre-pile has started for southern Minnesota, as well as Mindak down at Wahpeton and American Crystal. And they're already starting to do some averages on what they think yield might be by the time we go to full harvest, which is going to be closer to October 1st. But that's at least a little bit more harvest that's taking place right now.
Right on. And what have you been hearing out there from friends or folks or whatever falls off the grapevine for how harvest is looking with the wheat crop?
You know, a lot of our areas are really just getting started. The further west you go, the more harvest activity that's happened. And I heard a great analogy just the other day while I was on one of these field plots. And when someone says my yield is pretty good, that probably means it's a bumper crop in some areas, because they don't want to tell you any more than that. But at this point, looks like it's pretty good, especially as we get into our western areas, which are more concentrated in small grains. We raise more wheat and barley and durum out there, and they've had some good rainfall this year. That's been exciting to watch. So congratulations to those folks for picking up some yield that maybe they don't always have every year. That's been great.
Now, the recent heavy rain, I think I can't remember if I asked you this the other day, Bridgette. I know I asked you something similar to this, but so with the recent rain from the other Sunday where we picked up some areas 3 inches of rain, would that hurt the wheat harvest, or we've been pretty dry ever since then, or all right, we'll wait 5, 6, 7 days and I think everything will be okay?
Well, you're going to have to wait, you're right, until your moisture drops back down, until it's ready to be thrashed,
right,
as someone might say, when it goes through the combine. It's not going to add to your yield at this point. We have had falls where all of a sudden it rained a lot during harvest, like rained, and then rained some more. And the problem then is you can have wheat that's standing and then it's mature and it's dried down, and then it gets all that rain and it literally starts to resprout in the head. We're not anywhere near that at this point. Nobody wants to see that happen, because then your quality is just tremendously low. It drops down tremendously quickly when that kind of thing were to happen.
Gotcha.
But right now we're not there.
Okay, good. Good.
Got a little time. Yeah.
Cool.
And we got a pretty cool guest coming up today. This guy is talented. Yeah.
Have you started looking around on him?
Just a little bit.
Okay. So we're going to be joined today by Bill Lohman. He is from out by Grassy Butte, North Dakota. And the reason I called Bill and asked him to be a part of our show was because the first weekend in August was also the Champions Ride at the Home on the Range at Centennial Butte. And this is a Saddle Bronc Championship ride, and it's huge. Well-known saddle bronc riders from across the U.S. come over to this event. And Bill has been associated with it for quite some time. So he'll tell us what happened at that event. But also he is a cowboy poet, an entertainer, a rancher. I have a feeling that if we just ask a question or two and let Bill go, the rest of us are going to be able to enjoy our nice day. Bill will entertain us for the entire hour of Weather and Ag in Focus today.
Right
and I
on.
think it will be great fun. That's going to be great. Yes.
Yeah.
And apparently I'm really into the rodeo thing lately as I book guests, you guys. Just before we got on air, I got a confirmation from a gal who's going to join us in a week from today. Actually, well, Wednesday, I guess, so not quite a week from today. She's a trick rider for rodeos out of Helena, Montana. I can't wait to talk about how she trains horses and how she gets to doing what she does. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Like a barrel roll?
No, like she's standing on her horse at a gallop or hanging off the side of the saddle, that type of thing.
Word. Cool.
Yeah. It's going to give you some new ideas for your weekends now that softball's ending.
How many broken bones has she had? That's number one question.
We will ask.
Yeah.
And care of her animals, right? These are valuable, well-trained horses. And what does she do with them, for them? Where does she find them? Those will be great questions we're going to want to ask her next week. So, fun things.
Yeah, we got a few other things that'll be coming up on the show today as well. Some of the topics we'll get to outside of the weather forecast again is using EPDs in cattle, a little bit on pain management in livestock, and RCAF USA annual meeting in South Dakota. So we'll touch on those three things in our last segment. And in our next segment coming up, Bill Lohman will be joining us. Again, that's Home on the Range Champions Ride. He'll be joining us here in just a few moments. And if you want to shoot any email questions over for Bill, feel free to do so. That would be at weather or ag at flagfamily.com. Stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
You know the voice.
I signed name Dale with some bogus A. I didn't know anybody still used AOL.
Me neither. Yeah.
I kind of have an idea. I'm pretty sure I know who this is.
Probably knows Tom from MySpace.
The Jay Thomas Show. Weekdays at 2 on 970 AM and 93.1 FM. WDAY Radio.
Ripley's in Earhart has a great job opportunity for you. Ripley's is now hiring directional drill operators, backhoe operators, and plow operators. Your career opportunity is waiting in the utility construction, directional boring, fiber optic splicing, and fiber to the home industry. Apply online at ripleys-inc.com or call Ripley's for an immediate interview. 218-842-5322.
Hi, this is Kennedy Coulter. You may have heard of my dad, DJ Coulter, from American Family Insurance. As his biggest and most difficult client, I can tell you for a fact he can handle any situation. Whether you need advice or help finding the right vehicle, property, personal, commercial, or farm and ranch insurance, he's going to take care of you. Go to djcoulter.com and find out for yourself. That's djcoulter.com.
At the end of a crazy day, let your stress wash away with the smooth taste of North Dakota Sweet Crude Orange. A new generation of taste from North Dakota Sweet Crude. The same smooth finish with a splash of orange. Enjoy a variety of drinks like Orange Crush, an Orange Fashioned, or an Orange and Rye Manhattan. 3 of more than 50 recipes using North Dakota Sweet Crude and Sweet Crude Orange you'll find at crudespirits.com. North Dakota Sweet Crude and Sweet Crude Orange. A great way to finish your day.
Enjoy time with family and friends in Fargo's best-kept secret, the Gastropub Backyard at Fargo Billiards. The Gastropub Backyard is the largest patio in the FM area. Enjoy nice weather with a signature cocktail, like their refreshing Shark Bite or Loaded Limeade. Make the most of your summer with a full bar, restaurant, bean bags, giant Jenga, and volleyball. Also available for private parties. So get your summer on with the Gastropub Backyard at Fargo Billiards, located just west of I-29 on 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Hey everybody, Jay Thomas here. I'm sure you'll be shocked as I am, but I've got to tell you about the experience I had at Halberstadt's West Acres Mall. My wardrobe needs some help, and with a couple events coming up, it's time to find myself some new pieces. The staff at Halberstadt's West Acres Mall really knows what they're doing. I had a suit, shoes, and belt pulled together in no time. Snagged myself a few simple, stylish looks for the studio, and found an NDSU pullover for the season. Call me a shopping convert. Thanks to my experience at Halberstadt's. Check them out in the J.C. Penney's wing, West Acres.
Life can get pretty busy out there. Daily commutes, carpooling, and then there's that weekend getaway. Cenex is here to keep your vehicle fueled up for those long drives, pantry stocked for those snack cravings, and the propane grill ready whenever you are. Things can move fast, but with your local Cenex, you can rest assured that everything on your list will get a check mark. All in a day's work, powered locally at Cenex.
Brady's Service has the best gas. 111 leaded, 102, 97, 94, and 91 octane unleaded race fuels for all your high-performance vehicle needs. When only the best will do, it's Brady's.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Saturday at 6 a.m. At Creative Planning, our advisors will build a financial plan that is custom tailored for you. It will include your investments, insurance, estate plan, taxes, and other personalized elements. Let Creative Planning guide you to a richer way to wealth. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
Pucklet Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City makes it easy to find your next Chevrolet Buick GMC or pre-owned vehicle by offering a great selection at our best prices possible.
Welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. Today is a great day to be joining us, Dean Wysocki, Chief Meteorologist, Justin Storm, Meteorologist Extraordinaire, and myself, Bridgette Readel, as Ag Director. And we want to say, I think that's my way of saying we're going to give a shout out to a sponsor. Would that be fair? Use it that way?
That's fair.
Okay. So shout out to Irie Insurance as one of our sponsors for our custom farmed 20 acres of soybeans that Here We Grow. Thank you to the gang at Irie Insurance for all that they do and for covering you as a customer, whether it's from boat rides to RVs to what happens on the farm, and then also to Steffes Group. Steffes Auctioneers, you can go check them out at steffesgroup.com to see when their upcoming auctions are. They have a live one next Tuesday, and we're going. This group will be there live. We're going to try to keep our hands down and not buy much, but there'll be a few things, I bet. So that's our week coming up. Let's talk today to our guest. His name is Bill Lohman. Bill is well known in circles as a cowboy poet, as a rancher at Grassy Butte, North Dakota. I believe I got that right. And additionally, as an all-around entertainer. But he's recently been out to the Home on the Range for the Champions Ride, which is a saddle bronc championship. Bill, I am so looking forward to you explaining more about that ride to us. How are you?
Well, good, Bridget. Thank you. I'm from Sentinel Butte, not Grassy Butte.
Shoot. Sorry about that. I apologize.
That's all right. Yeah, Sentinel Butte is the home to the Home on the Range Champions Ride. Grassy Butte is across the river, Little Missouri River, about 50 miles away from me. It's ranch country, too. But, yeah, I'm a Sentinel Butter. Yeah, the Champions Ride, it's really upgraded the last 9 years now through Brad Germanson, our four-time world saddle bronc champion, has upgraded it with the staff to being credited as it's an invitational of saddle bronc riders only. And before that, their winnings would not count in the standings to make it to the national finals at Las Vegas. But in the last 9 years now, it is counted. So it's got to be a big event, and they get 30 of the top bronc riders of the world there.
Ooh.
And
wow.
We had a good one. It was like usually it's 90 or 100 degrees. This year it was 70 degrees and just beautiful, and the horses cranked good in there was some awesome rides. Kobe Wanchok from Canada won it, and tremendous horses. And then the last two horses, a little shower come up and run everybody to their outfits. I had a raincoat along, everybody else did too, but it was way down on the outfit in the parking lot, so that done a lot of good. But it was. But are you interested in the history of this?
Yes. How did this ride begin?
In 1957, the Snell family that owned the livestock sales ring and prominent family in Dickinson, North Dakota, had a matched bronc riding for several years ahead of that in the early to mid 50s, where they would put match a couple of bronc riders against each other and stuff, and it was really successful. And then in 1957. Raymond Snell Sr. and our Tischer brothers, my neighbors Jim and Tom, they were two of the top saddle bronc riders in the world, got together and wanted to do a rodeo at Home on the Range, which was for homeless boys and stuff at that time, and to promote that and help fundraise it. And so they moved it to there and made a matched bronc riding in 1957 was the first year. Well, originally, they parked cars it's in a bowl running north and south down a little swale, and they parked cars on the east and west side on the hillside, and you'd set in your cars and watch the rodeo. And if there was a ride that was really exceptional, well, you'd honk your horns real loud, and it was quite a deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that concept came from Medora. Most people don't know where the amphitheater is in Medora and the musical. Everybody's aware of that, I'm sure. If you stand up there before showtime and before dark up on top and look down the valley over behind the show, behind the stage and stuff down the valley, it's a little flat draw down there, and they used to have a long, skinny rodeo arena there. And you can still see on the south slope of that, there's a steep side hill. You can see it from up on top. There's 3 grader marks in there where they took a patrol and graded roads in there at different levels so cars could drive in and then turn downhill and park and watch the rodeo. And that's where the concept come from, was from that old Medora rodeo that they brought it to Home on the Range for the Champions Ride. So that's kind of history that a lot of people aren't aware of. And I've talked to the foundation of Medora and begged with them to leave those grader marks in there, and because they're a part of our heritage and a part of our history, and they're good about it and everything. But they had rodeos there from I think they had the Teddy Roosevelt National Park was fenced in, and I think in 53 or 54 they had a wild horse roundup, and got the horses out of there. And Barnhart had a family name had rodeo stock and in Medora, and they would put a rodeo on there, and they used a lot of those wild horses out of the park for their first rodeo. In fact, Whiz Bang became nationally famous as a bronc that was their big star that come out of the park and there at the rodeo. A young bronc rider named Joe Chase from Holiday was the first guy to ever ride him, and he went on to national acclaim too. So there's a lot of history there. The arena was torn down in the 60s, I guess. Bob Abernathy, my neighbor, Bob Abery, rodeoed out. He was sitting second in the world in bareback when he got his neck broke at Red Bluff, California. But he brought the arena to Beach, North Dakota, our county seat on the Montana line, and started a rodeo school. He'd have a week-long, and he got our great Dwayne Howard from Minnewaca, North Dakota, that was a 3-time runner-up to the World Bull Riding title, and also made the national finals in Saddlebrook. Him and Dwayne Howard and Bob Aber put on a rodeo school there for young wannabes, and Bob Aber was actually on to tell the truth in New York City because of his rodeo school. So that was quite interesting too, that history of the evolving of this event. But the first rodeo, the first rodeo was like in 1957 and to 1961, I think they had it in May. And the very first rodeo was so cold and windy and cloudy and cold. Deb Copenhaver from Crescent, Washington, he'd already won 2 world titles. Him and Casey Tibbs battled back and forth. He started a bonfire back in behind the chutes, and all the cowboys hung around there to keep warm until their horse come up and get on the ride.
Oh,
So
Bill,
that's
we are going to
it's
have
all
so
good.
much fun with all the stories that you've got. These are tremendous. It's the bottom of the hour. It is 1:30 in the afternoon, and we are going to come back and continue this discussion with Bill Lohman. He's going to talk about the Home on the Range Champions Ride. It is a saddle bronc world-class event that happens in North Dakota, and just the names you've listed, Bill, many of them are in the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, and I can't wait to hear more. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
970 WDAY. Hi, meteorologist Justin Storm. Every afternoon, my forecasts let you know how the afternoon weather is going to go and that all-important ride home from work. In all 4 seasons, that's the reason you listen. Weather changes fast, and I'll give you the current conditions as well as what the evening will look like so you can make decisions on the plans you've made. Don't forget Weather and Ag Radio every day at 1 p.m. right here on WDAY.
Turn your home into restricted airspace. Tell incoming flights you want them diverted. The new Raid Essentials light trap plugs into the wall and uses light to attract, then trap flying insects like fruit flies and mosquitoes. Its 24/7 continuous attraction provides insecticide-free protection that's people and pet friendly. Consider air service interrupted. New Raid Essentials light trap, insecticide-free protection.
Dad, I don't feel good.
I'll grab the Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey.
Isn't DayQuil just for parents?
Actually, Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey is just for kids, specially designed to treat kids' most bothersome cold symptoms quickly with a honeylicious tasting flavor kids like.
You know what else kids like?
DayQuil Kids Honey first, then video games.
Deal.
Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey. The kids' honeylicious daytime coughing, congestion, stuffy head, stuffy nose medicine. Safe for ages 6+.
Staples has big savings on everything you need for back to school or stocking up the office. Save on signs, banners, and posters from Staples Print and Marketing Services. Save on everything you need for travel, like luggage, tech, and travel-size personal items. Plus, save on all your school essentials, from notebooks to markers. Now at Staples, you can save even more with $20 back in rewards on your in-store purchase of $50 or more. Get everything for the office and the classroom for less at Staples. Ends 8/19. Redeemable in-store only. Rewards members only.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
Tom's used to that.
Yes, I'm used to all kinds of stuff with you.
He sits next to me in the news center.
Oh, my goodness. We're next to you. Hey, I've been in this business for a while. Right. Never have I ever come across anyone like Bonnie.
Thank you very much.
Never.
Finally. He probably goes home every night. Patty, you're not going to believe what she said or what she did today. I'm not like the rest of them, Tom.
No, I know. No, you're just a whole different breed.
That's right.
Thank you.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
What do eyewear and weather have in common? Join us for the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast to find out. Each Tuesday morning, Dean Wysocki, Justin Storm, and myself, Ashley Freeborn, owner of Aspire Optical, will bring you the 7-day forecast.
You never know where we'll be or how it will be presented, but we promise to bring you the most accurate forecast this side of the Red River.
And learn how you can save big on eyewear from Aspire Optical.
Watch the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages.
Trust us, this is weather and eyewear like you've never seen.
Tired of fast food for lunch? Then choose delicious food made fresh every day. Choose O'Kelly's with fresh made tasty lunches for only $10. And they've added some new menu items like Shrimp Street Tacos and Chips. Enjoy the Pork Belly Street Tacos, the Burrito Bowl, Chicken Caesar, Meatball Sub, Roast Beef Melt, or the Cuban. All sandwiches come with chips and each sandwich made fresh every day and only $10 any weekday. Now that's a lunch you can sink your teeth into. That's O'Kelly's. Delicious food priced right. I-29 in Maine, in Fargo.
It's Outback Days going on now at Muscatel Subaru. While supplies last, Muscatel says new Outback models available now, no waiting. All with Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive for safety and security 4 seasons of the year. Ask about Muscatel's complimentary accessory credit with new Outback purchase. Muscatel Subaru, just off Exit 1 in Moorhead, or online at muscatelsubaru.com. Subaru, built to last.
And welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are having a fabulous discussion with Bill Lohman. He is talking about Home on the Range Champions Ride that happens in western North Dakota. This is Championship Saddle Bronc event. So, Bill, I have to ask, what's the best ride? Can you name one that you've seen during this Champions Ride since the 50s?
No, I can't. Whoever wins the event is usually the best ride. They bring in for years. They brought in the Calgary Stampede horses. And they were just awesome, and they had world champion horses there every year. And if you draw the best horse, you're gonna win the rodeo. So every year, Kobe Wanchuk made a tremendous ride this year on one Onion Ring. Let's see. Brody Crest from west of Cheyenne, Wyoming, made a good ride on Onion Ring. So, no, I mean, there's Jim Tesher and all them, Alvin Nelson, they all made good rides on Old Shep, Bob Eber's great horse. I couldn't nail down any single ride because they're all good. It's top notch all the way. The format of this in 1957 was a match of we had 5 of the world top saddle bronc riders from North Dakota, and it was a team event. We'd put 5 North Dakotans up against 5 of the world's best outside of North Dakota, and we had the Tesher brothers, Jim and Tom, which my neighbors, Tom ranch right south of me, Jim north. We neighbored with them all the time and played cards, made sausage together, traded brandings, all that, and then Alvin Nelson, he won the world in 1957 actually. He traveled and lived with Jim and Loretta Tesher down below me here on the river, but he was actually a young guy from South Dakota, right across the river from Mobridge, I think Selby, somewhere in there, but he rodeoed out of Santa Butte. So we had 3 of the world top bronc riders with Santa Butte addresses, Jim, Tom Tesher, Alvin Nelson, and then we had Joe Chase, a young Native American from Holiday, and Dwayne Howard, of course, the Minnewacan great. Those 5, fabulous 5, went up against the world for many years. And then as they got older and retired into the 70s and stuff, they went into just the top 30 bronc riders in the nation and ride individually, not as a team event. So that's kind of how it evolved from there.
So as you think about this event, can you tell me, how is this the premier fundraising event for Home on the Range? Are the students who are at that facility, are they a big part of putting this on? Kind of how does that look?
Oh, I'm sure they do. They do a lot of the background work and help and stuff. It's put together by the Home on the Range faculty and stuff and their residents, but it's also put together by a team of a committee of rodeo people and people like that know the business of rodeoing. So it's a huge team event. They've upgraded that arena now the last 2 or 3 years, and it's state of the art. It is awesome. It's worth the trip out there and the price to get in just to see the arena. They do a tremendous job. It's professional all the way, and it's one of the better paying rodeos in the nation in August, so it draws good cowboys.
Hey, Bill, I want to ask you, what's your favorite thing about being a rider in the last so many years?
Being a writer?
Yeah, what's your favorite thing about it?
Of writing poetry, you mean, or?
Yeah.
Recording our heritage. I don't write to write. You know, our northern cowboy culture has dry humor at the end of their writing, and anything is fair game in a wreck of somebody else, wreck short of death, as long as it doesn't happen to you. But you always add some dry humor at the end. That's kind of the way we survive. But recording our heritage, the cowboy poetry world flourished in the trail drives of the late 1800s from Texas up into this country, and it was all a cappella singing, and it was all what am I trying to say? It wasn't written down. It was just word of the mouth. So a lot of that got lost. There's very few of the stuff that was recorded. So my focus is to preserve our culture and record it and get it down on paper. Otherwise, they take it to the graves with them, every old timer. So, yeah, I guess that probably answers your question the best I can.
Right on.
And Bill, tell us a little bit about your ranch, the Home on the Range Ranch. You do a lot of good for the community. There's a lot of stuff that's done out there. Can you dive into a little detail about that?
From what I know, the Home on the Range, I think Ed Levins and his wife, they didn't have any children. They had like 2 sections there, 1,200 acres or so. And when they retired, they donated it to start that to the Catholic facility for homeless boys. Home on the Range for Boys is what it was for many, many years. All the years I grew up, it was Home on the Range for Boys. And now it has evolved into, there's girls there. There's the kids there now come from troubled families and broken homes or whatever, and there's girls and boys there, and it's evolved into more of that and counseling and getting them off to a good start from a bad environment than being a homeless thing like it started from.
And they kind of learn what ranch life is all about, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, they make them. They have them duties to take care of, do their chores and stuff, and have some responsibilities, and that's what life's about. Yeah. Oh yeah, they do a pretty good job of bringing them up that way. Yeah, I've grown up around a lot of them that come out of there and married locally and lead very productive lives, and really thankful they had that facility to go to.
Right. Hey, Bill, half of our listening audience here has some form of involvement in agriculture. The other half is fairly urban, here being in Fargo. For those who are completely unaware of what goes into ranching and how it all works, how could you describe what that lifestyle is like? What's the daily day look like for a rancher?
My personal ranch, we ranch northwest of Medora, northeast of Santa Butte, about 20 miles. We're in deep, rough Badlands country. It's very different than the farming element. We don't farm at all. Where you get out, what we call out on top, out of the breaks to the Beach, Montana line, or to Belfield and Dickinson, there's a lot of farming goes in with their ranching stuff. We're a cow-calf operation where we run a mother cow year-round, feed her all winter, calve it out in April and the spring, and then we sell the calf off in the fall to buyers through the sales ring or to buyers, and it goes to feedlots and stuff, and then we do it all over again the next year. We do the same thing over year after year, but each day is totally different. We have blizzards, we have droughts, we have storms, we have we have miles and miles of fence we have to go over every spring before we turn cattle into each pasture. We have to rotate pastures, move cows from one pasture to other at different times to protect their grass, and we have pipelines on water wells we have to maintain. We don't have public water. That's all our expense to drill a well, to maintain a well, to make sure the pipelines are working. We have to know our bull bloodlines to have better quality calves. So we have to know our feed, our protein and our feed we buy, so our cows do better. That's a very interesting question too. When I started going, I've been with the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering in Elko, Nevada since it started in '85, and the buckaroos, we're subcultures within our culture. The subcultures, the buckaroos, had no idea how to manage a ranch or anything. They were just day work cowboys for big corporate ranches. But us northern cowboys and cowgirls are family-owned ranches where we do our own business. We go we buy high and sell low, as the comedy mark of it, but we run our own business. So there's a lot of subcultures within our culture, which is quite interesting.
And Bill, I mean, you're one talented individual. Not only do you ride, but reading a little bit about your background here, you're an entertainer, an artist, an author, a poet, and you also do comedy. How do you like doing comedy? And is there anything stands out that's that might be one of your favorite places to perform or What's your favorite part about comedy, and how did you get into that?
Well, we grew up with dry sense of humor. Again, that's
Sure.
how you got the arts councils, the folklorists and our arts council all over each state has an arts council and a folklorist pretty much, and they study that, and that's how it got going. Cowboys hate meetings and hate going to meetings and hate to be involved. The folklorists and arts council hold us together, and they are trained to discover a culture, study a culture, and leave it unedited. And they don't correct our English. We use slang. I compliment them very highly on holding us together. What's the old Groucho Marx term that goes with cowboys? He said, "A cowboy, I refuse to join any organization that would accept me as a member."
You got a favorite joke or bit there, Bill?
I don't. I just, I'm dyslexic. I'm the youngest of four, and we grew up very remote. We mined our own coal in the creek, had our own 32-volt wind charger, didn't have a phone till 76 and stuff, and my folks bought a 2-room shanty, a house in Sentinel Butte, and we'd batch in there, 2 of us at a time. One go to college, one come in from grade school and in the country, and I batched there alone my last 2 years. And I was pretty good in sports, all sports and stuff, but I was a slow child. Now they got no child left behind. I was slow child left behind. I was just a dumb kid. They found out when I was like 40-some years old, I'm very dyslexic, and I had to memorize everything to get through school, which serves me good today. What were we talking about anyway? Yeah. There's a little dry humor there. But no, excuse me. People think I'm joking, but it's the honest truth. I have always said if it wasn't for beer and basketball, I would have not stayed in high school, and that's not a joke. In the dead of winter out in these little ranch communities, Weeble, Montana, Medora, before the tourist thing come way, these little bars in January and February, if you were big enough to get a $5 bill up over the counter, they'd sell you a 12-pack of beer if you just took it and get out of there. They had lights and heat to pay.
Well,
and we drank beer and then we'd sneak in the gymnasium at Sentinel Butte after supper and leave a back door open after basketball practice, and we'd shoot hoops in there till midnight or so, and it was better than running the streets and getting in trouble and stuff, and that's how I grew up. And then go home on weekends and help the folks ranch. So, but we grew up. My dad always had a dry sense of humor. We'd ride big pastures and stuff, check on water and bulls and stuff. And my 2 older brothers, my dad would send them down one drainage to ride that out, and Dad and I, when I was real little, we'd ride another one, and we'd always meet at a big Wanigan Creek flat, and there's a big sand Castle Rock, we called it, Castle Rock Bottoms, and we'd meet there to go home. And after we got all done riding, and my dad, he'd tell my 2 older brothers, Jim and Chuck, he said, "Okay, I'm gonna draw a line in this cow trail in the sand, and if you 2 get back here before we do," and he said, if Bill and I get here first, I'll draw a line in the sand to show we're here. And if you guys get here first, you rub it out.
This is a way to keep track of each other.
I didn't present that one very well, did I? Oh, well.
Oh, Bill.
But yeah, we just grew up with a dry humor and dry put downs of each other. Humorous put downs and dry humor. And like the folklorists, I was getting into that and I dropped it. They had studied slavery for years and years. The slaves sang ballads in backbreaking cotton fields to get through a hard day to keep their spirits up. And they'd studied that over and over and over. And then when they got into studying the cowboy culture, they found out cowboys use dry humor to get through a long, hard day in a wreck with a horse or something. And it's part of our culture.
Yeah, cool. Well, we got a phone call here, Bill. This might be a question or comment for you. It's from Greg. Greg, welcome to the show. I only got about 30 seconds left, so what's your question or comment?
Oh, I was just going to say there's a great Netflix series, The Ranch. I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, it sounds like exactly like what would happen out in western North Dakota, but that was based in Colorado, but Sam, what's his name?
Elliott?
Sam Elliott was starring in it, and yeah, he had the dry humor that was, just totally funny, so.
Yeah, I'm not getting all that.
Ever seen it, or?
Can you help me out with that, somebody? I'm not getting all that here on my phone.
We got a little tie up here on our studio lines, but he was mentioning that there's a show out called The Ranch that's pretty good about ranch.
I see.
I guess I've never seen it.
Oh, it's an excellent series.
Yeah, pretty good.
What he was asking if it was kind of like that out on your ranch, and if you've never seen it, Bill, I don't know, it's a little bit different, I think, from what Bill is explaining what they do out there compared to that Netflix series. But
yeah, I've never seen it.
Well, I have never seen it because I don't know how to turn a computer on, and I tried to get a smartphone, and they wouldn't sell me one.
This is the perfect opportunity. I've been waiting all day. This is Bill when he turns on his computer.
And the last movie show I seen, I think, was Casey Tibbs was Born to Buck back in '72 or something.
Yeah. Well, hey, Bill, I really appreciate the time here telling us all these stories, a little bit about riding and on the range, the ranch. If people want to get more information, either about the ranch or the rides or anything that we were kind of talking about, any websites or places that they could go to where they could find that information at?
Oh, boy. The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame at Medora is recording our culture here in North Dakota. That's a good place to get updated on our ranch life and our cowboy life.
Okay.
Cowboy Hall of Fame covers everything from ranching to rodeoing and everything. So that's a good spot, and that's a nice facility there in town.
Hey, perfect. Well, really appreciate it. And Greg, thanks for calling in with your comment. Appreciate that as well. We got to head over to the American Ag Network, and when we come back, we'll get to check on that forecast, and we'll talk about the weather a little bit more. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus will be right back.
Ripley's in Earhart has a great job opportunity for you. Ripley's is now hiring directional drill operators, backhoe operators, and plow operators. Your career opportunity is waiting in the utility construction, directional boring, fiber optic splicing, and fiber to the home industry. Apply online at ripleys-inc.com or call Ripley's for an immediate interview. 218-842-5322.
Hi, this is Kennedy Coulter, and DJ Coulter with American Family Insurance is my dad. As I get older, I realize how important my dad's job really is. All those times he had to take a work call when we were at the lake or in the gym, he really cares. He always puts his family first, but his clients are second. As his biggest and most difficult client, I can tell you for a fact he can handle any situation. Go to djcoulter.com and find out for yourself. That's djcoulter.com.
At the end of a crazy day, let your stress wash away with the smooth taste of North Dakota Sweet Crude Orange. A new generation of taste from North Dakota Sweet Crude. The same smooth finish with a splash of orange. Enjoy a variety of drinks like Orange Crush, an Orange Fashioned, or an Orange and Rye Manhattan. 3 of more than 50 recipes using North Dakota Sweet Crude and Sweet Crude Orange you'll find at crudespirits.com. North Dakota Sweet Crude and Sweet Crude Orange. A great way to finish your day.
You want a fun night out with the family or just a great place to hang out with the guys? Fargo Billiards and Gastropub has all the fun under one roof. Foosball, ping pong, shuffleboard, pinball, darts, beanbags, bubble hockey, and of course, pool tables galore. They have delicious food and your favorite beverages to wash it all down. It's a super fun atmosphere and a great place to hang out with friends. Open for lunch or dinner every day. Fargo Billiards and Gastropub, just west of I-29 on 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Mixed action, soybeans higher in the grain market. This is the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen with this market update. We're joined now by Arlen Suderman, Chief Commodities Economist at StoneX for market analysis. And Arlen, looking like a lot of the same news headlines here that we've been following all week long, playing into these markets. Beans up moderately, pulling corn along with it here. Wheat a little bit lower. Overall, feels like a fairly quiet day with some of the same stories playing in the market.
Yeah, it's exactly right. We've got some concerns about the weather. It's turning hot and dry across the Midwest, and that'll be the case for much of the rest of the month of August, although we should start to see rains come back in with temperatures starting to moderate by the final days of the month. But there are some concerns as these crops start try to finish out their growing season. We are seeing some headwinds, though, that are creating some weakness, capping gains in corn and soybeans, creating some weakness for wheat. In this market, we've got talk out of China of some of defaults on property and foreclosures being up 20%. One of the major companies that deals in the property market talking about restructuring debt, worries that that'll start having repercussions and contagion through the Chinese economy. And what's bad for China is generally bad for China's imports of commodities. So that's creating some concerns. Also, we're not seeing the retaliation against Russia for yesterday's Russian attacks on Ukraine export infrastructure. And so the market easing a little better there and allowing wheat prices to pull back lower once again.
All right, we do appreciate it. Arlen Suderman with StoneX for our market analysis. We see cattle futures triple-digit losses there, especially in the feeder trade, with hogs triple digits higher as we work to our midday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen.
Hey, and welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It's 1:57 on this Thursday afternoon. We just got done speaking with Bill Lauman. He's a home on the ranch, a Champions Ride, a saddle brock rider. There's a lot of fun stories that he was telling us, including a few little jokes there, which was kind of interesting. But why don't we go and take a look at the forecast out there, because we got a nice, beautiful day out there right now. Temperature is right around 73 degrees. Wind a little breezy, but not bad, gusting to 21. But what's the rest of the day look like, and how is this upcoming weekend going to shape?
Yeah, it looks pretty nice for the rest of the afternoon. Sunny to partly cloudy skies, and temperatures should make it up into the mid to upper 70s. Those winds will start to lighten up as we head towards evening. About 5 to 15 by evening. So if you're going out for cruise night, Jay Thomas will be out there live. And the weather looks great, so enjoy that. We'll clear things out overnight tonight down into the 50s. And as we head into the end of the week on Friday, the winds ramp up out of the south-southeast, 15 to 30, and gusting even higher. Highs in the upper 80s, and then we're in the mid-90s on Saturday before much cooler weather on Sunday, dropping back into the 70s. More clouds, maybe an isolated shower or thunder shower on Sunday. No all-day rains, not like this last Sunday, but definitely cooler. So I would say pick day of the weekend looks to be Saturday. And then next week, we'll warm things back up into the 80s and 90s. A little fun fact here, and I'll double check this, but what is now Hurricane Hillary in the south of Baja is expected to take a direct turn to the north and hit SoCal, Southern California, with some very, very heavy rains as we head into the late part of the weekend. And I believe that's the first hurricane or tropical storm, because it's probably weakened by the time it gets into SoCal, to hit Southern California. And again,
now that you say that, I can't quite say I remember a specific time when they got hit with
not where
one.
they've taken a direct hit from a hurricane or tropical storm. A lot of times they'll broad brush, like they'll go up.
And your westerlies shake it off into the Pacific.
But this may be the first time, and again, we'll do some research on that, but that's a little interesting tidbit in the weather department there that could be the first tropical storm or hurricane to hit Southern California. And that's late weekend. They're going to get hit with anywhere between 5 and 8 inches of rain. They need it. Obviously, they probably don't need it all at once, but and ironically, that will turn our upper level winds in out of the south for early next week and warm us up as well. So that'll do it for us here at Weather and Ag in Focus. I want to thank everybody for joining us. There's the screaming goat. That's for Bridgette. Bridgette had to take off early.
She did.
So for all of us, I want to thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock. The Jay Thomas Show is coming up next.
AM 970 and FM 93.1. WDAY, Fargo, more.